Good morning. I'm going to be talking to you about behaviorism as I'm part of the group. But I'll start with just giving you a highlight of some of the leading theorists that have been in this field or that have been researching on this theory of behaviorism. I'll start by just giving you a list of some of the behaviorist theorists that have been around. They've helped to shape what it is today. Now, one such behaviorist is called John B. Watson. Another behaviorist is Ivan Pavlov, the one who did some experiments on dogs where he'd ring a bell and then it would indicate some food. Another famous theorist is B.F. Skinner, who then brought this theory to try and implement it on human beings with his radical behaviorist theory, where he talked about the human or the student as someone with an empty mind which needed to be filled in order for them to learn. Another behaviorist theorist is E.L. Thorndike. There's Bandura, and then there's Thorman, who was then moving towards cognitivism. Now, I'll just look at some of the key principles of behavioral learning theory. Now, I've cited three such principles which I'm going to be talking about. The first one talks about learning is manifested by a change in behavior. And by this we mean that each time we receive new knowledge, it also affects or changes the way we behave as human beings. Every time you learn something, and then it means the way you view that something, the way you see the world also changes. And in effect, it also changes the way you behave. Now, I'll just take an example of this class, ICTs in education. Each time we leave UCT to go back to our workplaces, to go back to wherever we came from, I think we always go back with a different behavior. The way we see things, the way we view whatever it is, the way we are going to be conducting our lessons back home has changed because I think learning has taken place when we are here. Another principle is that the environment shapes our behavior, which is another true concept because the environment in which the student is also determines how they are going to behave, how they are going to learn. Now, an example is the South African education system and the Zimbabwean education system, where previously the schools were segregated according to race or class, and then schools in one area, maybe the dominantly white area, were called better schools. The infrastructure there was better. The attitude of the teachers was also better as compared to the schools in the other section, which we, in Zimbabwe we call the B schools, where the blacks were mainly found. A student who goes to that school was going to be affected by the environment because the attitude of the teacher in that area also changed. If the same teacher was put in a group A school, I think the attitude was also going to be different, which is going to affect the way the student is going to learn, the student is going to perceive whatever it is that was going to be done there. Another principle is the contiguity, which says that the more an event is repeated, the better or the more the bond is going to be formed. And as such, this was just an emphasis on reinforcement. If a certain activity is repeated a number of times, it meant that it was more reinforced in the student's mind, and the retention of that student also improved, which is also another true case because each time you repeat something, an example is when we teach the younger grades how to do their multiple timetables, we always repeat the process, we always let them sing out this activity, and then after a number of times it now sticks in the head. You just ask a young kid about a certain multiplication, 2 times 2, and it is better for them to recall because they've been able to retain that. So these are some of the principles that we look at as we are able to do what, as we look at behaviorists Now I'm going to leave third part to my colleague who is going to talk about how these behaviorist principles relate to ICTs.